Good afternoon. The Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce, the Rotary Club of Hamilton, and the Lindenwold Kiwanis Club welcomes you to today's Red Carpet Luncheon. My name is Rich Bethart. I'm the president of the Hamilton Rotary Club, and at this time I would like to ask fellow Rotarian Larry Bowling to come forward and lead us in our prayer and pledge. Larry?
Bow with me in prayer, please. Father God, we humbly come before you, Lord, with a thankful heart, thankful for volunteers, a room full of volunteers, Lord, that are willing to serve, to make this a better community. Lord, we're thankful for the country we live in, the freedoms we have. We thank you for that, Lord. Lord, we also thank you for our elected officials. We ask that you be with them, guide them, give them direction. We thank you for the city that we live in, the prospering nature that's come about. We thank you for that, the direction we're headed, Lord. We thank you for that. Lord, we ask that you'll be with the world as it has crisis with people that just don't like us, Lord. We ask that you'll intervene. We ask you to be with us, protect us. Lord, we have a disease going on right now, Ebola. We ask that you help the countries that are severely restricted. And Lord, we thank you that we have not been in that situation at this point. We ask that you'll protect us, put your arms around us. Lord, we thank you for the food that we've eaten. We bless it, ask you to bless it to our bodies and our bodies to your service. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Larry. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce the president and CEO of the Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce, Kenny Craig.
Thanks, Rich. And I can't remember a time where our membership has been more excited to hear the state of the city. And I think you're getting for a real treat today. Before we get into the state of the city, I was wondering what was the state of your lunch? By applause, let me hear how it was today. I want to thank the hotel, I think, for getting us through the lines in record time. Before we get started, I want to thank our centennial sponsors, those companies that help support the Chamber throughout the year and everything we do. And those include the City of Hamilton, Fort Hamilton Hospital, and Mercy Health Fairfield Hospital. Let's give them a hand. I'd also like to thank our newest gold sustaining sponsor who just joined us as a gold sustaining sponsor, and I think they're here today, ODW Logistics. If you're here, raise your hand. Let's give them a hand. I want to thank our sponsors for today's event, DeCosimo and Mercy Health Fairfield Hospital. Let's give them a hand. And finally, Steve, thanks to TV Hamilton and the Journal News for their coverage of the state of the city today. So today we're going to hear about the state of the city. We're going to hear first from our mayor, and then the mayor will be introducing the city manager. Sit back. You can try to relax, but I don't think you're going to be able to. And let's hear the state of the city. First, I'd like to introduce Mayor Pat Moeller. Pat.
Good afternoon. So I'm speaking to a football team prior to a game saying some familiar words of motivation. Think team, think and do attitude, and out-hustle the other team. Well, then I said some spontaneous words like, you're from Hamilton, be proud of that. And you're from Hamilton, you have to work twice as hard to be respected and noticed. And I said what I believed, as the perception of Hamilton is often not a positive one from outsiders looking in and from some of our own citizens. But over the last 12 months, our city team, our residents, and corporate citizens, our partners, and our volunteers have worked very hard to attain many, many positive results. As George Washington Carver said, there are no shortcuts to achievement. When one works twice as hard to achieve success, the path taken and resulting successes are twice as satisfying. While we are not totally satisfied yet, there is ample proof of success that you will see and hear about today. And our downtown is a prime example of achievement. If Billy Hamilton of the Reds baseball team, heck, if Josh Hamilton or even Alexander Hamilton visited our downtown and saw this project, the old Journal News building, which houses Butler Tech School of Arts, Greater Miami Valley Ballet, and the Adult Basic and Literacy Education Program, you know, those three guys would say, real nice, great repurpose of a building. But if Billy, Josh, and Alexander then saw this block of our downtown, you know, Sarah's house, a new restaurant opening, the Mercantile building, and others, you know, they would be saying, something's going on here. This is not a coincidence. Then if Billy, Josh, and Alexander then saw the entire downtown panorama, including these buildings and these projects, from left to right and top to bottom, Operation Pumpkin, Lane Library Technical Center, continued success of the Marriott, the Butler Tech Ballet Able building, Life Rate, the Robinson Schwinn building, the River's Edge concerts, the opened and soon to be opened restaurants and delis, NUH Downtown Center, the Art District, including Sarah's House, Art Sims, and Art Space. I believe anybody would say this is an economic movement and a downtown transformation. This is just an example of downtown success. You know, if I could catch the guy who has the truck with the bumper sticker, Hamilton, the town that offers you nothing, I really do believe I could convince him with the progress that we've accomplished that he would put a I believe in Hamilton bumper sticker on his truck, or maybe a bumper sticker that might say Hamilton, where vision becomes reality. Hamilton native, retired Lieutenant General Rick Lynch has written a book on leadership, and it's entitled Adapt or Die, Leadership Principles of an American General. We have chosen to adapt instead of die. Hamilton has chosen a path which focuses on opportunities, not obstacles. So I'm at the last Reds game of the year in Cincinnati a couple weeks ago, and it's kind of sad, but I see a gentleman holding a cardboard sign. First, let me say that I do give support to many of those individuals who seek public assistance, and they seek a hand up in order to meet their family's needs. But this gentleman, though, was kind of unique. I truly believe he's going to be okay. His sign said, career advice, 50 cents. Career was spelled K-A-R-E-A-R. So his marketing sign caught my eye, and he even had a suggested amount to donate. I did not contribute because I believe this man is so creative, he's going to do okay. But here's some career advice, which I would give to career seekers. Use your valuable Baden High School diploma, your valuable Hamilton High School diploma, your well-earned GED to attend Miami University, University of Cincinnati, Xavier, Cincinnati State, Butler Tech, or many other schools of higher learning within a 30-mile radius of Hamilton. Increase your job skills and job readiness at Skills Central, a program led by volunteer Joel Fink. If you have the drive to be self-employed, utilize the Butler County Microenterprise and Microloan Program through SELF, Neighborhood Housing Services, and the SBDC. Enroll in the Build-Up Academy at SELF to earn a construction and OSHA certifications. If innovation and invention drives you, the Hamilton Mill welcomes you. And more about them later. Hamilton has within it and around it programs and opportunities for our citizens, whether they are just recently graduated from high school or college, have been displaced temporarily from the workforce, or are wanting to climb the ladder to better and higher financial security. Well, what has happened the last 12 months in Hamilton? In the Community Development Department, full-time construction and rehabilitation of the former Hamilton Center into art space has begun. The Neighborhood Stabilization Program grants were completed this year, including the Habitat for Humanity 7-house Morris Way development project. A neighborhood has been built within a neighborhood there. Construction Services has had a significant increase in commercial permit activity for the last 12 months. Construction value for commercial projects comes to over $21.2 million, which is significantly higher than the past recent years. The Finance Department has maintained the city's A3 Moody's bond rating. The Finance Department has created a budget and evaluation team to dig deeper into the budgeting process. And the Finance Department's received awards from the Government Finance Officers Association for excellence in financial reporting. Only 4 cities in the state of Ohio have received all 4 of these awards: Beechwood, Upper Arlington, Westlake, and Hamilton, Ohio. The fire department's implemented an active 911 system and software which places computers, iPads on all fire vehicles. This system will increase dispatch efficiency and provide critical emergency information. After several years, the fire department has also restarted a fire safety inspection program for commercial properties. This program helps to abate fires in commercial properties and helps keep our citizens and customers of Hamilton safe. The law department has coordinated the creation of an affirmative action plan, and the law department's also engaged in work through the land bank and nuisance proceedings, which have led to the demolition of blighted structures. And our health department's also done a whale of a job in these demolition projects. In the police department, a core police officer has been assigned by the Hamilton Police Department to patrol the core business district to help promote safety and security and to forge a close working relationship among the businesses and residents in the area. And the police department did this after meeting with businesses and citizens to identify those critical hours for the additional patrol. And this is funded through a creative partnership, and it's been an excellent public relations tool. The police department also has had a dispatch consolidation with the Butler County Sheriff's Office, and that took place in December of 2013. And it's been a seamless change. This consolidation reduces the duplication of services and will save taxpayers money. The new records management system upgraded the old Hamilton Police Department record system, which is 25 years old. The dispatch contract with the Butler County Sheriff's Office included a new records management system at no cost to the city, which saved the city approximately $1 million. In public works, projects are under construction, including the East High Street Gateway improvement, the concrete repair and resurfacing program, the safe routes to school, street markings and signage, and the Great Miami River Recreational Trail Phase 2. Public Works also plowed and salted streets with 6,509 tons of salt during our particularly harsh winter to keep them clear and safe for our motorists. And they did a fine job, a job well done. Public Works also constructed and operated 3 new spray grounds at Jim Grimm Park on Cleveland Avenue, L.J. Smith Park in the North End, as well as Benninghofen Park in Lindenwold. And Public Works also created a dog park with the help of our Parks Commission at Veterans Park. Resident Services coordinated several special events in the city, including River's Edge Amphitheater concert series, and I hope that you all enjoyed that. Thousands of hours were also volunteered by our residents, employers, and city employees, including student groups of Butler Tech, Hamilton High, and our parochial schools. And our Hamilton golf courses were profitable and are in excellent shape. In utilities, the electric division relocated overhead distribution lines underground and installed new street lighting in 200 and 300 blocks of South 3rd Street. The Hamilton Electric Division was recertified as a reliable public power provider by the American Public Power Association. And the Electric Division did a lot of work on Ohio legislation to make our Greenup hydroelectric project eligible for Ohio renewable energy certificates. Our water and underground utilities, our water continues to win the best of the best title in the water taste competitions. We've replaced over 95% of our old steel and cast iron gas mains in our gas distribution system with high-density polyethylene pipe. The construction of our public compressed natural gas fueling station on Route 4 will be completed by the end of October 2014. And over 6,000 feet of sanitary sewer main in various sizes were lined, and approximately 40 miles of sanitary sewer main in various sizes were inspected, and that's preventative maintenance. And economic development, and you hear a lot more about this from our city manager, but I want to mention a few of them because we can't say thank you and recognize this enough. Influx is a new cutting-edge technology plastics processing subsidiary of P&G, investing $50 million and bringing in 251 jobs to Hamilton, and that's advanced manufacturing. Tyson Krupp Bilstein broke ground on a $26 million expansion project at its Hamilton facility, creating 214 new jobs. Community First Solutions, as Hamilton's second largest private employer, will be moving 50 employees that comprise their Hamilton corporate headquarters, into the former Ringles building store downtown. Interstate Warehousing, the cold storage group, announced an expansion of 25 new jobs and $3.1 million of capital investment. J. Austin's Riverbank Cafe opened, which is great news, and the Land Bank received funding to continue its efforts. As of September 30th, Hamilton's Land Bank has demolished 161 properties and has donated or sold 22 of them. The Hamilton Mill and the Hamilton Mill Partnership. Well, Hamilton Mill is a leading business incubator in Butler County, and it provides support for young companies and entrepreneurs focused on clean technology, advanced manufacturing, and cutting-edge technology. And they've received numerous awards from regional, state, and national organizations in recognition of the Hamilton Mill success. But I'm going to tell you about two of them real quick. One is Enforce Hygiene. It's, I think, the latest company to join the Hamilton Mill. Enforce is in the process of developing and marketing a revolutionary hand washing system that provides a certified path towards clean hands, which is ideal for numerous industries, including healthcare, food service, and educational industries. Another one, Perceptive Devices, LLC, that allows physically challenged users to control diverse electronic devices in hands-free, voice-free, and mouse-free fashion while using only gentle motions of the head. This innovation is in Hamilton, Ohio, and we're very, very proud of that. Where would we be without our volunteers? From the Welcome Center, to home repair, to cleanups, to parents who volunteer at our spray grounds, to special events such as Ice Fest, July 4th, and Operation Pumpkin, and everything in between, Hamilton is blessed with great volunteers. We are also blessed with great partners, including but not limited to, and that was some legalese, our guardian angel, the Hamilton Community Foundation, our excellent city schools and our parochial schools, and Miami University Hamilton, which has clearly defined by example the meaning of civic engagement. So many individuals and groups are working hard to prove that the negative perceptions of Hamilton are clearly wrong. And we are overcoming those perceptions. But we need to continue to deliver the message, to invest in Hamilton and to believe in Hamilton. But challenges do exist. Main Street, the casualty building, our budget. But as an aside, I'm going to tell you what Denver, Colorado's done. They basically issued Colorado residents a challenge. Buy tax-free mini bonds in the amount of $500 for civic improvement, and no one could buy any more than 40 of them. They had a $12 million offering of those $500 bonds, sold out in 1 hour, and that's for civic improvements. And imagine what that would do, that type of offering, do for Hamilton. But I do ask you, as I wrap this up, I do ask you to ask yourself the question, what does Hamilton mean to me? Much of the future is in your power. It's in your power. Let me state my absolute opinion that Hamilton is our city and we should be proud of it. Hamilton is a city of opportunity for our residents and for commerce. And Hamilton is on the focused, proven path of success. At the expense of my late mother being mad at me, I'm going to use a President Bill Clinton quote to hopefully make a point. A turtle does not get on top of a fence pole by accident. Now, you got to visualize that for a second. Visualize that. Somebody has to put that turtle there. It is no accident who plays a huge role in moving Hamilton forward, and that is our city manager, our city employees, and city council. Would they all please stand at this time, and please give them a well-earned round of applause. Stand up, city. Thank you for that round of applause. It is definitely well earned. If Vice Mayor Rob Weil, City Council members Carla Fear, Kathy Klink, Robert Brown, Archie Johnson, Tim Nab, and I are the board of directors of this city, the city manager, Joshua Smith, is the producer and architect of Hamilton's progressive and aggressive success. And he's got a great presentation for you. I now introduce our city manager, Joshua Smith.
I'm very, very disappointed that Danny Crank did not give the opening prayer this year because it took away my first joke. And I can't do that to Larry Bowling. So then my second joke was going to be Bob Brown, Councilman Bob Brown, and he's not here today. So I have no jokes to start with. So I'm starting off on the wrong foot already. But I appreciate the mayor's comments. I want to dive in. I've got a lot of slides. I know that everyone's on a time schedule. So the initial slide to me is one that's very powerful. We've got Ken Riley in the front row today. The upper left-hand slide is the rebranded J. Austin's Riverbank. It's been a tremendous addition to our Main Street business district. So first of all, I want to start off by thanking Ken Riley for being here first and foremost, but for doing an outstanding job. My second slide is the Butler County Courthouse. We have Commissioners Don Dixon and T.C. Rogers with us, County Administrator Charlie Young, Bob Leventree, Again, the county really has been an excellent partner in my 4 years in Hamilton, Ohio. We've worked very closely together on a variety of things, and I see our future being more and more joined together. But I want to thank everyone from the county for being here and for being an excellent partner to the city of Hamilton. Yeah, stop clapping. I'm going to go through these. We'll hold the applause as we get through them. But the upper right-hand corner, again, is the city of Hamilton's largest private employer, Fort Hamilton Hospital Kettering. Again, Mark Smith, the president, a good friend. He's been a tremendous addition to the staff. I know Sonia Cranbuell and some others are here today from Fort Hamilton Kettering. But just want to thank them. I want to thank TriHealth. I know we have several people from Bethesda TriHealth here today. I think there's something important that a lot of people aren't probably aware of, but TriHealth, by the end of next year, will have invested over $40 million in Hamilton, Ohio in the past 2.5 years, and they will have added 100 high-paid employees. That's a tremendous addition to our city. Thank them. The direct middle slide is one that really means a lot to me, and Chris Cannon, the owner of True West, is in the front row today. But I felt like I sort of came in with the Cannons when they were opening their initial True West on Main Street. We worked with them closely to get the True West open downtown. I often think about their love for Hamilton and how they always continually push for Hamilton. Chris, thank you. I wish Vanessa could be here, but tremendous job. Sarah and Dave from Sarah's House are up in the front row. Again, two very good friends of mine. Dave, incredibly talented. If you've not bought anything from Sarah's House, you need to go down to what I call the former Hungry Bunny. Some people call it the former Country Kitchen. I'm sure it had many iterations in its lifetime, but just a tremendous project. Jeff Thurman. Jeff Thurman, I can't tell you enough about Jeff Thurman. I'll never forget first coming to Hamilton, Ohio, and meeting Jeff, and talk about someone that was as blunt could be. And I was like, I love this guy, because I hate it when people aren't blunt. The one thing I hate is passive aggressive, and this guy is certainly not passive aggressive. He's in your face, and he's going to tell you how it is. But talk about a company, an entity that has put a ton of money into Hamilton, and you're going to see some slides showing that here in a few minutes. The mayor talked about Influx, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Procter & Gamble. I know Nathan Estruth and his team is here today. Nathan is the president of Influx, but Hamilton's future, that slide and the next slide with ThyssenKrupp Bilstein, that really is the future. Mahindra Vora is in the front row today, and actually I was talking to Tim Campbell, the president of Ames, one of the companies out at the Vora Tech Park. I don't have a slide for this, but I think I can say it. They've added 40 jobs since January 1 of this year at over $3 million of payroll. That is tremendous right there. I'm going to give that a round of applause, because that's a lot of payroll. I'd also like to say, right, there I am, but there's Jonna Reeder. Jonna Reeder's with us today. She is the president of Ready Cincinnati, which is the economic development agency. That's the regional entity, and I want to thank Jonna for being here. I know she and our economic development department, she and myself, work very closely together, and our future is very closely linked to Cincinnati. Past and present. This is my 5th State of the City address. And I remember my first one, I was on the job for like a month. And I think I was here for like 20 days before I was even told I had to give a State of the City address. And is Larry Fear in the crowd? I know Carla, his wife's in the crowd, but Councilman Fear. But I'll never forget going down to Ryan's and just drinking one Smittig after another Smittig, because I had no clue what I was going to talk about. And I remember I had my laptop on the bar. I was throwing slides in. I had Jacob Stone doing my slides for me this morning, which was nice, but it was a pretty rough presentation. But it's just hard to imagine that in October of 2010, what to even talk about. But the one thing I'm incredibly proud of, I give City Council and our staff that's here today just a ton of credit, like 99.9% of the credit in this, is a transformation that I've seen take place since the day I started to today. The first year and a half I was here, it was pretty tough. Governor Kasich came in, announced some cuts to the cities, local government funds, phased out estate taxes. Our general fund was already reeling a little bit due to some job loss. We lost another couple $1 million out of a general fund, and it was really hard to focus, because it was essentially crisis mode. I was a new city manager. I had to come in, I had to learn the staff, had to learn the city council, had to learn the community, and at the same time, we were making several difficult decisions with respect to our budget. In 2008, our general fund budget was about $48 million in revenue. In 2015, it's projected to be $39.1 million. So So we've lost about $9 million in revenue since 2008. So you have to make cuts, you have to deal with that. But the one thing that was crystal clear is that we had to revitalize downtown Hamilton. And this is an article that Mike Dingledine from CDA shows quite a bit. And I really like it because it was dated March of 2012. So just about 2.5 years ago. Thinking about where Hamilton was at that point in time and where Hamilton had to really go to thrive. Because there's one thing I understand very clearly. Businesses do not have to be in Hamilton, Ohio. There's a choice. They can go anywhere they want, and I fully understand that. Our staff fully understands that. So it's about providing the amenities that the jobs are being created want around them. I mean, it's a simple fact that GE went to the banks in Cincinnati because you have 2 major league sporting teams right there. You have an entertainment district right there. You're in the heart of downtown Cincinnati. How do we capture our slice of that in Hamilton? This is a view looking down High Street, basically from the former Fifth Third building, and that is what it looked like in 2010. In the last 4 years, we've had over $20 million in investment between Sarah's House, the former Hallmark building, the Mercantile building, and now Art Space. $20 million just on one side of the 200 block of High Street. This was the intersection looking at MLK and High. I know we have several people from First Financial in the crowd today. You know, sitting down with Claude Davis and saying, we need to do something different here to really make this look better. For those that you recall, we moved the fountain that that was not working in front of the First Financial building into this pocket park. Again, almost a $500,000 investment. And again, thank you to First Financial for seeing that. What may be the ugliest building in downtown Hamilton a couple years ago is being transformed as we speak. In the upper left-hand corner, you can see what it's going to be hopefully looking like in the next 90 to 120 days, back to its original glory. We were very fortunate that in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, unlike a lot of cities that tore down these buildings, we simply just put ugly metal screens over them to hide them. The good news with that is it preserved them, so this next generation could come along and save them. But Art Space is going to be a critical investment. You talk to someone like Chris Cannon and True West to have another 42 units immediately across the street, to talk to Ryan's Tavern. And I would be remiss not to tell you that former Mayor Don Ryan's also in the front row, an early pioneer in downtown with Ryan's Tavern. I mean, this is what we need to be doing to help our small businesses. River's Edge was well underway in 2010, but that's what it looked like earlier this summer. We did a tremendous job. I want to tell Adam Helms thank you for really grabbing the reins of the concert series with his committee. And we had a tremendous concert series this year, and we're looking at making it even better for 2015. But $2.1 million already invested, and we're hoping to see the next phase of this happen in the very near future. And smaller things like the former Wilson Pool site in 2010, with one of the 3 splash pads that were built in 2014. East High Street. It was very, very well received by me that in 2010, when I talked to a lot of the business leaders, that we had to do something with High Street. It was the City of Hamilton's front door. It did not look like your front door should look like. Here's a rendering of what it's going to look like at this time next year. You'll have landscape medians, all the overhead utility lines will be down, you'll have street trees planted. It's going to be a vast, vast improvement. And it's incumbent upon us to create the business environment necessary to change out some of the businesses that we don't want on High Street and to support the current businesses that are already there, that are doing well. But this represents an $8.5 million investment. If there's one theme I want to be picking up, is that the City Council made it very clear that capital investment was critical to our future, because too many years had gone by without that capital investment, and without that investment, Hamilton could never move forward. Main Street, 2010, the former H.H. Gregg building. Again, Community First Solutions, another investment within our community, a $12 million rehab center. The Champion Paper Mill, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, with the Vision Commission support and strength behind it. Now the Rowing Club. The Ringles building, again, Community First Solutions. If you've not been by the building recently, it is a tremendous transformation taking place. We're working very closely with Jeff Thurman and his team. We've already installed new decorative street lights. We're putting in new curb and sidewalk. We're going to be burying the overhead utility lines in front of it. And I also have another announcement on that stretch of street I've not even told Jeff about yet because I wanted to save it for my stay of the city. But again, this to me was probably the thing that made me the happiest since we had the LifeRay announcement downtown. Again, Jeff and his group did not have to be in downtown Hamilton. They had any choice of places to go. The fact that they believed enough in what was happening downtown, I'm telling you, it's just incredible. And the final rendering of what their building's going to look like when it's complete, almost a $6 million investment. We talked about Influx already. 2010, when I arrived, it was Hamilton Fixture. Today, it is Influx. Again, there's some things I would love to talk about. I've not gotten the permission from Nathan, so I'm not going to say anything, but hopefully I can say some stuff next year at the State of the City. ThyssenKrupp Bilstein. This has been the one constant growth industry since I've been in town. I mean, Fabian, I said this at the groundbreaking ceremony for their new capital investment. It takes strong leadership to make these things happen. You can throw money at a project, you can do a lot of things, but without that critical leadership, these projects don't happen. Again, this is Fabian's vision and his ability to move things forward that got this thing done. I thank the state of Ohio, thank Reddy, thank the city of Hamilton. That's all great, but Fabian made this happen. The Fitness Center. I think everyone recognizes the importance of the arts within the community. This is a picture we took just earlier this week of the construction, the addition that's taking place. Again, we need to keep expanding. We have art space. Again, I know Rick Jones from the Fitness Center was very instrumental, as was former Mayor Don Ryan and others, Nancy Wiley from the Vision Commission, really to make that project move forward. A lot of people invested money into this new addition. The arts have to be the cornerstone of what we're doing in Hamilton, Ohio, and I'm very happy with the positive movement we've had in that direction here recently. These next couple slides, to me, these are incredibly powerful slides. When you think about what we had behind the walls of our building downtown in 2010, every one of these photos, every one is new since I came in 2010. And it's an incredible transformation of underutilized space. LifeRay, Josh Asbury's here today. You actually can see him sitting in the conference room with Brandon Sarber. But again, LifeRay did not have to be in Hamilton, Ohio. They're a California-based company. They could have been anywhere. The fact that they're here again signifies that we've got something positive happening downtown Hamilton. First Financial Bank invested $1 million in a new corporate training facility downtown Hamilton. A lot of people probably have not seen this yet. This is an incredible investment. Again, Claude Davis did not have to do this in downtown Hamilton. He did it. I thank him for it. ODW Logistics. We have several reps from ODW here today. Again, I talk about an absolute success story. Watch a company grow in the next 5 years. I guarantee this is going to be one of them. This is a tremendous, tremendous thing that's happened with the city of Hamilton. They're actually in our building. They're one floor below us. And when you come into town on High Street at night, look up at the 7th story of our building and take a look at the sign they installed. That was one of the first things they asked because they put a sign in the building. I was like, hell yes. Because I want people to know that you guys are in Hamilton, Ohio, because you could have been anywhere you wanted. Milliken Fitton, relocating downtown. Great office space. Community Design Alliance, downtown. The Mercantile Lofts, downtown. I mean, this is tremendous investment. The Lane Library Tech Center, downtown. Ardolph Sims, Sherry and Lou Armstead. I give them a lot of credit for being the first true retail outlet since I was here that came downtown. You follow that up with Sarah's house. Sarah has given me permission on a quote. We are consistently performing better in Hamilton as an independent store than we did as part of a large shopping center. What do you say about that? I mean, it's I feel like I need to be calling for like an amen or something, but True West downtown. Again, I could just keep going on with more and more slides, but this investment is critical to what we're trying to do. I mean, ODW Logistics, when we met with them, I mean, they were very candid with us. we hire young college professionals that want amenities. And downtown Hamilton right now lacks some of those amenities. But guess what? I have an announcement for the very end that's going to address some amenities. But let's talk about infrastructure improvements for a second. Again, council has made it very clear we have to rebuild Hamilton. The city has to be rebuilt. You know, we have a very old city, 1791, as most people know, named after Alexander Hamilton when he was Secretary of the Treasury under George Washington. So we've been around for a long time, and our infrastructure shows that sometimes. Wasserman and Millville, this coming year, will be getting a very substantial improvement to accommodate the additional traffic at that intersection. Maine, Millville, in Eaton, in 2016. This is timed because of some DOT funding. I like to get it done sooner, but this is a very, you know, for someone that was not from Hamilton, a very weird intersection to get used to. But we've got Fort Hamilton Hospital right up the road on Eaton, and it's very important to me that we do something very significant so people know in our community that aren't familiar with Hamilton on how to get there. MLK and High Street. Is George Schmidt here today? Good, because we might need to take some of his property for this intersection. I don't know that for sure, but and I don't know if he watches TV Hamilton, because otherwise I may be in trouble. But you know, one of the most interesting things about MLK and High Street is when you think about the time it takes to get from this intersection to Interstate 75, which is critical for business growth. You've got to get traffic moving back to the interstate corridor. This intersection, believe it or not, will help us do that. It will help us do that because it will move traffic faster. You'll be spending less time sitting at a red light by getting some additional turn lanes in. So it's just definitely a transportation improvement that not only I think will add some aesthetic value to this corner, but it's also going to enhance traffic flow. South Hamilton Crossing. I don't know if Jim Blunt's here or not, but we're now only 106 years behind where we should be on getting South Hamilton Crossing built. As he told me a long time ago, the first newspaper article saying we need this South Hamilton Crossing was in 1911. So I promise the city's going to start moving a little bit faster going forward. But something else that we've been working on from an urban planning / economic development perspective is how do we connect the southeast part of Hamilton better to downtown? When you think about a lot of the growth that we have in Enterprise Park, then further down Sims Road, we have the airport. How do we move people into the downtown area? So if you take Tylersville, which eventually turns into Hancock when you get to 5 Points, if you take Hamilton Mason Road, which turns into Grand Boulevard, which turns into South Hamilton Crossing here, this truly is going to be a challenge that we need to face in the next 12 months. How do we identify the critical infrastructure that's necessary? How do we identify the funding for that critical infrastructure? And how do we do the proper design that we can entice the new employees that are coming out to our southeast part of Hamilton coming into Hamilton? Let me talk just a few minutes about our future, and then I want to make a couple of announcements. For those of you that have been here for a long time, this may look a little bit different, but this is the former Elder Beerman building in downtown at 150 High Street. This is a rendering of what it can look like. Several of you are aware that we do have a developer out of Cincinnati under contract with this project. We're very excited about moving this forward. If you think about the downtown progression, you know, East High will be done next year. The first and second 100 block, or the 300 and then 200 block of High Street are basically getting done. Now we're looking at the 100 block of High Street. For those of you who have not been inside Elder Beerman, the former Elder Beerman in many years, that is now what it looks like. $450,000 was spent on demolition. It was cleared out. We're now ready for developers to come in or projects to come in. You know, no one's crystal ball is perfectly clear, but if I was going to guess, you would probably see up to maybe 20 different businesses located in this 160,000 square feet when it's all said and done versus just one giant user. The former Champion Mill project, as many of you have read in the Journal News, there's a study underway right now to turn this into a sports complex, to move the Hamilton Joes. I know Daryl Grissom's there somewhere in the crowd. I talked to him earlier today. But again, this is what Hamilton needs to do. We need to have the visioning process. We need to explore. And frankly, if it doesn't work, then you stop and you pivot and you go a different direction. But the one thing we cannot do is stop. We'll pivot, we'll stop and pivot at times, but the thing we'll never do is stop. So I'm very, very hopeful. So far the preliminary reports on this concept are very positive, but for whatever reason, if this does not work out, then I promise you we may take about one day off. We're going to regroup, and we're going to get after it again. This is across from the Ringles building, the former Joffy's Furniture building. This is now owned by the Core Fund. Again, this is a very critical project as High Street is getting more complete. It's now time for us to get off High Street and start looking at the perpendicular streets. The Core Fund actually owns everything that's listed as 1, 2, 3 in this yellow line. 2 buildings in particular that were eyesores in this block have actually been demolished. If you've not been down here lately, the former Datillo's produce stand no longer is standing, thankfully. And then the building that's right here has also been demolished. When you come out of the county parking garage has been demolished right across from the county parking garage. But again, we're getting ready for future development, and I think we're taking the appropriate steps in that area. 3rd Street Plaza, on the other side of 3rd Street, on the north side of 3rd Street in German Village. This project is a go for next year. I want to thank Lane Library and the Hamilton Community Foundation. This is a joint project between the 3 entities, about a $1.1, $1.2 million investment. The whole concept here is that we would have an area that at this intersection and this intersection that you can put bollards in the intersection so it can be pedestrian only. So think farmers market, think after parties from the concert, think library programming, think John Gaduli having a cocktail at noon outside, but you can sit outside and not have to worry about getting run over by a car. This one is, in particular, is very exciting for me. Everyone ever eats at Chinese Lantern, and Sherry stops you once you go into Chinese Lantern, and she stops me every time. I'll never forget, I was in there probably about 3 months ago, and she grabbed me, and if you remember the buildings that were actually right next to that 3 months ago, that someone had pulled the plywood off a broken window and was living inside, and she was like, we really need to do something. I didn't have the heart to tell her that we had already planned it for demolition. I just wanted her to go outside one day and see the backhoe out there, which she did. But this intersection in particular was, if you recall, the old Modern Age building that sat there, which is now gone, the 2 buildings that were located next to the Chinese Lantern, which are now gone. Think about Armstead Park next to True West on Main Street. That is the vision here. How do we create a pocket park that's green, has parking, and will support the local businesses in that area? Butler County Lumber. We have, obviously, the Chinese Lantern. We should have enough land left over to construct another standalone building. So I'm really excited for this. So this is a pretty key intersection on Main Street when you're heading out to the far west side of town. You got to talk about Meldal. Should be operational summer, early fall of 2015. This is really, again, I know I talked about this last year at the State of the City, but it has to be said again. When Meldal is operational, fully operational, and 70% of our power that is being generated is non-carbon emitting power, we have a story that almost no other community in the United States can talk about. No one. You can talk about renewable energy tax credits. You can talk about how someone is being green. We're actually green. Doug Childs, Mike Perry, Charlie Young, all in the crowd right now, really had the vision. Scott Owens, who's here from the L&E Group, told me the story of sitting in Washington, D.C. and pouring through legislation at 2 o'clock in the morning because there was a fight on who was going to get the FERC license between the state of Kentucky and the state of Ohio. But all that effort was worth it. We have several people. Again, former Mayor Don Ryan is here. Former Councilperson Ed Shelton is here. Former Councilperson Kathy Becker is here. It took a vision. It took a vision, and basically it took some risk to take a project like this on. And I guarantee you, if there's one that's going to keep paying its way forward, it's going to be Meldal. We partnered that with a compressed natural gas fueling station. We're going to have the first CNG station southwest Ohio, south of Dayton. I think Dayton just opened one up recently. Before Dayton opened that one up, the only ones in this area were in the Columbus area. Again, this is a big deal because this is something that no one else is offering right now. River's Edge. We talked about River's Edge earlier. Hired a consultant, MKSK, out of Columbus / North Kentucky, where they have 2 offices. This is the vision for River's Edge. You can see it's got a great lawn. It's got a lot more landscaping to it. It's got a very significant water feature. This is about a $7.5 million next phase, if you will. We're working very hard right now to get the middle stage of that done. And frankly, I've got some hope that it might actually be done in 2015. Talked to council quite a bit about the necessity of neighborhoods. The 17 Strong initiative was announced last fall because we all understand that the city is as only strong as its individual units, which are our neighborhoods. And we spent a lot of time this year through the Sense of Place Committee and several key staff people identifying what the neighborhoods were, how do we break them down into manageable components, and how do we do things within the neighborhoods that will make them stronger. First of all, I want to say thank you to the Vision 2020 Commission. They embraced that concept, and they grabbed the first two neighborhoods, which is German Village and the Rossville Historic District, as special projects. The Core Fund is working in those neighborhoods also. Again, it's a critical way to fund investment to those neighborhoods. Neighborhood cleanups. In the budget for 2015, for the first time in many, many years, we're going to be, well, it's in my budget. I got to have council approve it first, but if council does approve the budget, there will be 2 citywide cleanups. So we're literally going to contract with Rumpke on 2 special days, once in the spring, once in the fall, to go door to door in Hamilton, Ohio, and you can put out whatever you want, as long as it's not chemically toxic. You can put out whatever you want, and they will pick it up. And the whole purpose behind that is to stop the illegal dumping in the alleys, stop the illegal dumpings in the commercial areas, and we really think that if we give people an easier venue to get rid of unwanted stuff, that they'll do it this way. But the picture that you see there is the city's green team. This was something that was born last year at City Hall, and this group, and sometimes others that join them, literally go out into the community and clean. So I want to thank them for that. Neighborhood spray grounds. We built 3 this year. I'd like to announce that there will be a 4th one built in 2015 over by Crawford Woods on the far east side of Hamilton. And frankly, we're hoping to build another one in Milliken Woods. This one, again, is already in the budget. We're still trying to find money for Milliken Woods next year. But happy to say that we're going to add a 4th spray ground. So when I came here, all the swimming pools, except for the one at the Booker T. Washington Community Center, had been closed. So recognizing the cost of owning and operating a pool, this is a more cost-effective way to provide neighborhood kids an opportunity for recreation. The police department's been absolutely outstanding in terms of taking a very small, limited staff and refocusing their efforts on things that really matter. I want to give Chief Scramese a ton of credit for what he's been able to do through establishing more neighborhood watch. What you see, the sign on the right, is a draft template, but we're trying to redo those in the certain neighborhoods in the community policing effort that the mayor talked about. Land bank. We've already spent $1.2 million in state funds. Thank you to Butler County. And I apologize. I saw Cindy Carpenter. Commissioner Cindy Carpenter is also with us. But Butler County has been tremendous in this effort in helping us get this money. We just received another $1 million. And again, we have a lot of properties that could be torn down. This is definitely going to go a long ways towards getting that accomplished. No. That's I told those guys, don't put a slide that says applause because people are going to think they're supposed to applaud. That's not the purpose. I want to talk about some things that I think that we need to applaud, not me, but this. Our golf courses were bleeding money when I first came in as city manager. Again, I want to thank Adam Helms. If you look at our golf fund that's going towards the end of this year, for the 2nd consecutive year, we should be turning a surplus in the golf fund. That means we have money to reinvest back in the golf courses, which I think is huge. Again, this was a great photo I think Mike Dingledine took. I just love this. But when you think about the things that have been completed in the last couple of years, I mean, it's just incredible. Again, Carla and Larry Fear, and Don Ryan, some of the early pioneers on High Street, when the Robinson Schwinn building sold to the Kuhn Restoration Group, again, they moved it up even another notch, had the building painted and restored some of the inside. The Journal News project that the mayor talked about, I mean, the one thing that you probably don't even think about now is that all these overhead lines that were here 18 months ago are now gone. You have the decorative street lights, you have the decorative traffic arms. We used to have traffic lights that hung off a wire. I mean, a lot of investment has gone into these areas, and I've had people actually say to me, we don't know why, it just looks cleaner. Well, it looks cleaner because of the things that our utility department is doing and our public works department is doing. Art space. I love this photo because I think that people are going to be stunned when they see this building in the next, when that facade or the plastic comes off the facade area, what that looks like early in 2015. The YMCA, talk about a tremendous partnership, talk about tremendous leadership under Woody Fitton. Congratulate them on their recent anniversary, but also congratulate them on partnering with the city of Hamilton, with the Booker T. Washington Community Center and so many other areas, the neighborhood playground program that they helped us out with when we needed the help. Now, because I know I'm running out of time, new announcements. This first one's pretty bad. It's parking meters. I know that's not very exciting. I'm sort of excited about this one because you can actually pay, if you have a smartphone, you can pay the parking meter with your smartphone. See, I get excited about stuff like that. Most people don't, but we're going to do a trial run with these parking meters. We're going to install 36 in 2015. We're going to start at Community First Solutions' new building where there are parking meters. We're going to go down 3rd Street from Ludlow to High, and then we're also going to go down Court Street for a certain section. We're going to go down Court towards MLK, and then we're also going to put these 9 in the 9-meter spots that are in the parking area that's behind the Robinson Schwinn building at Journal Square Alley. But again, if you think about the investment and the need for continued investment, we had a developer in town a year or two ago, and he was like looking at our parking meters like, these are antiques, he said. I mean, sort of embarrassing. I was like, they are antiques. They look like they've been here since like 1980, but this is, I think this is pretty exciting. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but anyway. I always think about how Vice Mayor Weil tells me he graduated high school in 1973, which was the year I was born, but and Steve Timmer for that matter. Big class of 73, Steve Dawson too. But I'm not going to tell you about Pittsburgh's Mellon Square, but what I am going to tell you that one of the things I think is going to be incredibly exciting for the community in the next couple of years is, this is not final yet, but I feel comfortable enough to make this announcement today, that we're going to be shifting our Parks Department from a city-run Parks Department to a Parks Conservancy. And the full purpose behind that is our parks need to be a tremendous asset within the community, and we need to do a much better job of focusing on parks. Right now, our parks are a division of Public Works, and Public Works oversees 6 different divisions. We need to pull that back out. We need to have a sole focus on parks. There's been a core group of people that have been working on this for many months now, including the Hamilton Community Foundation. There's a small group that's going to Pittsburgh next week, including myself. I think Pittsburgh has one of the better defined Parks Conservancy districts in the United States. And the reason they did it, if you go back and look at their webpage, in 1996, Pittsburgh pulled their parks out of the city government, not all of them, but some of their key parks, because they're running out of money. And they said, we don't have the funds any longer to put into the parks. And they knew that a city without parks was a dead city. So they created this conservancy, and these parks that used to be terrible looking parks now have restaurants. They have premier landscaping. They have activity. They have programs. I mean, I think maybe at a more local level to provide some perspective on that would be, think of Fountain Square in downtown Cincinnati before 3CDC started doing the programming for that. They said it was literally dead at 5:01 every night. Now that Fountain Square has taken over the programming because they have someone that's solely focused on that, it's a tremendous asset to the city. So I'm excited about that. I've talked to Vivian from the Journal News yesterday to sort of get her up to speed on that. The other thing that I would like to announce, I'm going to sort of kick it off a little bit with a very short video, because I know we're running out of time, but is the Hamilton Mill. And there's a very exciting project to announce with the Hamilton Mill. So I'm going to let Jacob Stone plug in and play for me here.
'Cause you're a sky full of stars. I wanna die in your arms. Cause you get lighter the more it gets dark. I'm gonna give you my heart. I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do. 'Cause in a sky full of stars, I think I see you.
The one thing I think about all the time is the fact that we had such incredible industrialists in Hamilton, Ohio, well over a century ago. And there is a very, very heavy obligation on our part to not only recognize that. We've got Dave Ballou, former president of Beckett, in the front row. We need to do a stand-up job in recognizing our history, but also moving forward into the future. Hamilton Mill, the former BizTech, the whole purpose of rebranding that and looking at that through a different lens was how do we create that next generation of advanced manufacturing in Hamilton, Ohio. The mayor talked about Perceptive Devices, which is the device in the picture that you see right there. KW River Hydroelectric, doing some very cutting-edge technology on creating hydros for low-level dams. The rebranding of the mill, to me, is probably one of the most important things that we've done in the 4 years that I've been here as we create new companies. I mean, ODW Logistics, that we talked about earlier, came out of the former BizTech. To create companies like that and keep them in Hamilton, Ohio is absolutely critical for our future. With that, I'm going to be announcing that Municipal Brew Works, Hamilton's first microbrew, will be opening shortly. It'll be located at the Hamilton Mill at the 20 High Street. We got Matt Munifo here in the front row. That's the handsome gentleman on the right side of that picture there. Kim, is it okay if I call your husband handsome? I don't know if I should do that or not, but this is exciting because ODW Logistics, I mean, they were very candid. They said, we need things like a microbrew. So when this opportunity came up, and the fact that you have local investors involved in this is tremendous. This is just one more arrow in the quiver that we did not have last year in terms of recruiting young professionals into downtown. I mean, I can tell you right now that Josh Asbury and LifeRay would probably leave if we didn't have a microbrew in the next 24 months. So this is, I mean, this is huge to have this. I mean, I can't thank these guys enough. This is a huge investment. Here is a concept photo of what hopefully it's going to look like. But this is just very exciting. To me, this is something that not only complements the Marriott being right across the street from the Marriott, but also it complements what we're trying to accomplish in downtown Hamilton. Finally, I know I'm running out of time. Don't forget to connect with us on Facebook, on Twitter. Use our online 311. All right, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I'm Lou Robinson, and it's my pleasure to thank each and every one of you for attending this annual Red Carpet Luncheon. And it's always well attended for good reason. Please pass on to your family and friends the state of the city of Hamilton because it's very exciting. I hereby adjourn this meeting, and please drive carefully.